Imagine you're in a car, the engine's running, the road's clear, you have a full tank of gas because you have somewhere to be, but you're just sitting there, going nowhere because your hand is locked on the emergency brake. You know, the one you grab when something's really, really wrong, except nothing's wrong. You just won't let go. That is what you are doing to your life right now. So today we're going to talk about why and how to finally let go. You're not just being careful, you're scared. Let me tell you what I see every day. Right now, there's someone waiting for gas prices to drop before they start their business. There's someone else who is waiting for the right time to finally move. And I want to say this with all respect. That's not the problem. You managed to pick up one obstacle and set it in your way. That obstacle is your emergency brake. We were taught to be careful. I got it. We were taught to think before we made a move. Yes, some of that wisdom was cool, but a lot of us have turned that into a full time job of not moving. We call it being smart, responsible, prepared, but underneath it all, it's just fear. The fear of being seen, the fear of trying and it not working, the fear of people watching us figure it all out in real time. And here's the truth, the world is still moving. Opportunities aren't going to wait for you. They go to the person who is just as scared, but they moved anyway. See, waiting for the perfect moment is this quiet way of telling yourself no. Think about it this way. You have this momentum building. You're finally gaining traction. Things are working in your favor. And then suddenly, you pull that brake because you find something new to worry about. And that's not bad luck. That is you again pulling the brake. Because when things start moving, when life speeds up and it feels unfamiliar, that unfamiliar feels unsafe to you. So you slow yourself down. Gas prices, timing. Let me research more. Let me just wait a little longer. You hear that? That's the break. Because the truth is, dragging something out slowly is more exhausting than just moving. So every day that you delay, you have to convince yourself again and again and again. That is what is draining you. One real decision can change everything. A moving car can adjust. A parked car can't go anywhere. So, look, this is what happens when you move. And I'm telling you this from me being built on lived experience. See, real experience will beat the perfect plan every single time. And no, this isn't a theory. I didn't just test this out. Look, yesterday I didn't feel like going live, but I did. Let me show you what I had going on. I did that, but I still felt the hesitation that maybe later I would go back to it. Maybe I didn't feel like it. Or maybe I was just too scared to just be me, like right now doing this live. But I went live anyway. I made soap on the live. I mixed it. I poured it. I stayed on camera. It wasn't perfect. There was nothing polished. It was just me being the real me. And those same products are for my bombs and the soap bars that I talk about all the time. All of that comes from action, not waiting. That is what movement looks like. The person who starts messy learns faster. The person waiting for perfect conditions that's still planning will be waiting. So if you tried something like that before and it didn't work, I don't consider it failure. I consider that data. The only thing with no value is staying so safe that you never find out what you're capable of. Now, let's talk about how you're actually going to move and not stay stuck. We'll just slow it down for a second because we're not talking about becoming reckless. This is about you moving with purpose. You don't need to know everything when you're getting started. I knew nothing about making soap, okay? But you need to know enough to start. That's the key. So you're going to ask yourself three things. Do I know enough to begin? That's the first. If the answer is yes, then good news. You're ready. If this does not go perfectly, can I adjust? You already know the answer, right? You always figure it out. You always figure it out. So the real question becomes, what is staying still costing you? What is staying still costing you? We think about the risk of moving, but we ignore the cost of staying stuck. So here's an action plan. First, name what you keep putting off right in the comments. Two, be honest about the why, not the excuse, not the real reason. Three, take one action in the next 48 hours. I'm not talking about doing research or planning. I'm talking about an action step, something that could be executed quickly before your mind grabs a hold of you again and says, and hits the brake again. I want to talk to somebody specific. You know exactly what you have been sitting on. Every time you get this close to your goal, you pull back. And I'll say this clearly. You are not protecting yourself. You are parking your future for the third or fourth time. And that feeling you are waiting for, whether it's confidence, certainty, no fear, that does not come before action. It comes after. It builds while you're moving. Every person you admire, they started unsure. They started messy. But they decided that their future mattered more than their fear. So right now, Put your hand on that brake right now. Do you feel how tight you're holding on to it? I encourage you to let it go. Because your success is not a question of if, it never was. It's only a question of when. And your when is now. If this hits you somewhere real, I want to hear about it in the comments. What are you finally starting? And for those of you who have been watching me build in real time, and when I say in real time, I mean real time. I'm talking soaps and bomb, BTP, better than petroleum if you don't know. None of this came with perfect timing. It came with movement. So when you support what I create, you are not only supporting proof that action works, but you are also supporting the messy middle. And if you're new here, stay connected. This is what we do. We grow together, we move together, and we stop waiting together. Now, go release that break. I'll see you in the next one.